And good afternoon. Welcome to Children's Book Talk. And I have some great series books that I want to talk to you about. And it's about, actually, I think it's three young men, and one is about a little girl. So I'm just going to jump right in here. The first one, so all these books are in a series. This is what I'm going to talk about. Ellery Jakes is Not a Chicken by Sally Warner, but he's got a whole bunch more. This is the second one, is a rock star, and we have other ones too. I can't show them all to you, but so I'm going to start with this one. Ellery Jakes is Not a Chicken. He is the smallest kid in his California third grade class, and that's even accounting the girls. He's pretty tiny. And Jared is the biggest. And of course, that is his bully, along with Jared's friend Stanley. The two of them love to bully Ellery. He doesn't know why it started, but he knows when it started. And he knows that he can't really tell anybody about it because it would just make things worse. So all he does is just try to live through it. Well, his teacher, Miss Sanchez, had sent home a bad report on him that says his behavior needs improvement. Well, his dad is a military man, and he's very, there are rules and they need to be followed. And he kind of lectures El Rey all the time about, improve your behavior. And he's like, yes, dad, yes, dad, yes, dad. Well, since they've got this bad report, Miss Sanchez has a telephone conference with his parents once a week. Well, they have just received this telephone conference. It is after supper, and Miss Sanchez says that he is bothering his neighbor. And Elray pipes up and he says, but she loves to be disrupted. But she loves all his antics and his jokes, but dad said we can't have that. So he told him, he says, okay, I'm going to give you a challenge. If you can stay out of trouble for 1 week, no bad mention on the conference call, then we'll go to Disneyland. So now they live in California. It's not like they live in Illinois and that's a big trip for them. I mean, they can jump in the car and take a little road trip and go to Disney. So he wants to do this. So every day is excruciating because he's trying to be perfect and stay out of trouble, but not too perfect because he doesn't want Jared or Stanley to realize that there's been a change in him and to figure it out, because then it would be even worse. So he eats lunch and then he goes into the bathroom. He washes his hands for like a half hour so that he doesn't have to go out onto the playground where, Jared and Stanley, their fun is to torture him. And when he retaliates, of course, it looks as if, they never get in trouble. So it looks as if he's always caused the trouble. So each day is worse than the next. There's Nervous Tuesday, whacked on Wednesday, thumped on Thursday, and whacked on Friday. I'm not going to tell you how it ends up. These are kind of smallish series books. Check this one out. Find out if he makes it to Disney. Does he confront Jared and Stanley? This is Ellery Jakes is Not a Chicken, by Sally Warner. Okay, the next one, this is Alvin Ho, and again, there's a whole series. I'm going to talk about this one, but we have these as well. And all these books are good, but I always have one that seems to be my favorite of the four that I usually book talk. And this is called Alvin Ho, Allergic to Camping, Hiking, and Other Natural Disasters by Lenore Look. And so, like, this one is called Alvin Ho, Allergic to Birthday Parties, Science Projects, and Other Man-Made Catastrophes. So he is afraid of everything. He was born scared. He's still scared. Some of the things that scare him, long words, punctuation, the dark, the great outdoors, which has hurricanes, tornadoes, mudslides, landslides, and basically the end of the world. He's scared of so much more, but the list is so long, we couldn't talk about it here. So, Henry David Thoreau is Alvin's hero, and he was a naturalist. He loved nature, he was a poet. So, he loves everything about Henry David Thoreau. And so, he was telling his dad one afternoon all the wonders of his hero. And so his dad said, well, his father taught him about nature, and he went on to love nature, and, he tried to conserve it, and of course, all his poetry. And he says, I have an idea that I could teach you about nature. Maybe we could go camping. And of course, he's like, what? Camping? He says, but there's so many things out there that could get us, fire, bears, one of them dying. And of course, his dad always counters that, okay, well, if it was bears, we have bear spray. And if there's a fire, we'll make sure we have water near us. And of course, Alvin is not comforted at all. So his dad starts to make a packing list of what they're going to take. And he has like flashlight, compass, mosquito netting, while him and his brother Calvin go through the list and they kind of bump it up a little bit. So instead of a compass, they get a GPS. Instead of batteries, they order a generator, and they're ordering this all on Dad's credit card. Instead of a flashlight, they get a searchlight. And instead of first aid kit, they get a trauma dressing kit. So, it's just, on steroids, this kid. He's prepared for the worst possible thing. So as they are waiting for this delivery to arrive, instead, Uncle Dennis arrives. And he is the coolest uncle. He is younger. He never remembers anybody's birthday. So there's Alvin and Calvin, the boys, and then there's their little sister. And so they just randomly receive these awesome gifts in the mail, these packages of great, wonderful things, because he just randomly sends it because he doesn't remember the birthday. So today he shows up in person while they're waiting for this kit full of all these things. And so they tell him, yeah, we're going to go camping. Alvin says, I'm going camping. I'm really worried about it. And he's like, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And, he thinks that his uncle's basically a superhero. Everything he does is cool. He's athletic. He dresses cool. He's a cool uncle. So his uncle's like, no. You just have these 10 things that you need to know. And so he kind of starts listing them. And Alvin's like, well, okay, maybe you can do that, but I can't. And so finally, Alvin says, what I really want is that he wears a Batman ring on a necklace. And he thinks this is why his uncle is so cool. And he said, if I could have your Batman ring, he says, I think that I would be indestructible. So his uncle's like, sure, go ahead, take it. So the next day he takes it to school. He's showing all his buddies. And of course, they don't have a Batman ring, so they make some out of clay. So now all the boys in the class, they pretend like they are Batman. They pretend like they're bats. Alvin tells them that they're going camping, so they all decide that they are going to practice outdoor skills, and they all climb this tree. And they keep climbing higher and higher and higher. And of course, Alvin's like, okay, I'm on this first branch, I'm good. He jumps down, he goes inside. All the other boys are stuck. So, teacher's not too happy about this. But so finally, this cool Batman ring is everything, and even the boys in his class like it. So finally the day has arrived when they're leaving for camping. He is sure that there's a tornado coming. The signs are all there. He can smell it. He can feel it. He can see the weird colors in the sky. I kind of saved this picture. He's got a life preserver on, knee pads, night goggles. He's prepared for everything. And now his little sister wants to go. I'm going to leave it there, and you're going to have to see how it turns out in the end. And this is Alvin Ho, Allergic to Camping, Hiking, and Other Natural Disasters by Lenore Look. And like I said, we have several other titles by him. This poor little guy, he's just afraid all the time. Okay, so now this one, this is Stink. This is, if you know Judy Moody, this is her brother, Stink. And he has also lots of other ones. We have much more than this. I just grabbed these titles. I thought they were good. Stink, The Great Guinea Express, Stink and the Incredible Super Galactic Jawbreaker, and then there's Judy, his sister, The Big Bad Blackout. But I am going to talk about Stink and the World's Worst Super Stinky Sneakers, and this is by Megan McDonald. And like I said, this is Judy Moody. She has her own series of books, but this is the brother. And so this is the best day ever in his life. He's in second grade. They're taking a field trip to the Gross Me Out exhibit at the Science Museum. And nobody is excited about this as he is. I mean, he's named Stink for a reason. He's just a gross little boy. So the entrance, they have to walk through a mouth that's dripping with slobber, and it has bad breath, and it's super stinky. And of course, he can't wait to get in there. He does not know where to go first. The vomit machine, musical farts, the burpometer, the giant nose where he can learn about how boogers are made. He just can't figure out where to go first. So he goes through every part of this exhibit. He stops at everything and smells it. And he gets all the smells right, and he just loves it. His classmates have kind of moved on from the exhibit, but he can't hardly be torn away. So when he goes home that night, he tells his mom, like, I've got a super sniffer that I think I could probably get a really great job with this. And his sister's like, whatever. And so she tests his sniffer, how good. She puts a blindfold on him, and she brings him all these things. He guesses all of them, even the most random stuff like the cat food. You know, he knows exactly what flavor of cat food it is, which kind of grosses his sister out because she thinks he might be eating it. So he sees an advertisement in one of his comic books, or an ad, and it's all about the corpse flower, which it blooms not very often, and when it does, it blooms for the shortest time, but it is the most horrendous smell. It smells like rotten eggs. It smells like rotten meat. It smells like an outhouse. It's just the worst smell ever. And scientists gather and they study this flower because it is so horrible. And they take all these samples, and it doesn't bloom that often. So they kind of have to do it when they can. So he thinks, now, wait a minute, if I can be a scientist by using my nose, this seems like the job for me. But his mom, as they're reading this ad, she's like, oh yeah. She says, when I was younger, there was perfume and it was called toilet water, but it's called like eau de toilette. And he gets an idea, well, wait, I have toilet water that I could probably, create some great scent. Because she said, well, this stuff is usually pretty fancy and like rich ladies wear this. And he's like, I think I can do that. So the next day he goes to his lab, the bathroom, and he collects toilet water. And he starts by putting spices, food coloring, pickle juice, garlic. He wrings out his sweaty socks. I mean, he just comes up with the most horrendous smell, and he puts them all in jars, and he gives them names. Vampire vapor. He thinks he's going to make it rich by making this super stinky toilet water. Also, another part of the story is when they're at the museum, the teacher hands them a flyer, and it is for the all-time world's worst super stinky sneaker contest. And all the kids are excited. And he's like, well, I've got this locked in. I mean, my name is Stink. I've got this locked in. And the teacher's like, well, I'm going to take one of these home to my daughter because, her shoes are so bad, we call her the Stink Monster. And so he starts to think, do I have it in me? Can I do it? And Sophie, his classmate, she's actually wearing rubber rain boots because her sneakers smell so bad. And he's thinking, maybe mine aren't as rank as I think they are. But he's pretty sure, because then he gets to smell Sophie's shoes and he's like, yeah, okay, this is nothing. So finally, Judy, his sister, she's tired of the perfume business, the stinky perfume. She's tired of his stinky shoes, and she takes matters into her own hands. And I'm going to leave it there. And I also wanted to show you that, like, in the chapters, they have, like, a stinky fact. Like, here's a stinky fact. 250,000. Okay, did you know that just 1 foot contains 250,000 sweat glands and oozes up to 2 cups of sweat every day? Okay, that's disgusting. But like each chapter, there is another stinky fact. So this is a cute book. Find out what Judy does and what happens. This is Stink and the World's Worst Super Stinky Sneakers by Megan McDonald. Okay, this next one, this is Diamond Daniel, and she's got other books as well. This is the very first book that I'm going to talk about. She's got Rich Diamond Daniel and Almost Zero Diamond Daniel. But I'm going to talk about this one. This is Make Way for Diamond Daniel. And this is kind of a shorty. It's a quickie. So Diamond's parents have gotten divorced, and so she has moved with her mom to a new neighborhood and a new school. And she's kind of fitting in with her neighbors. She knows the florist down the road, she knows the baker, but at school she's having a really hard time fitting in because she's really missing her best friend Ashley. And there's just nobody that can compare to this best friend. She did everything with her, and she lived nearby too, so they were just together all the time. And she's really super smart with math, and so she said that, like, her and mom are just 1 + 1 is 2, but before it was 2 + 1 was 3. It was her parents and her, and Diamond was her friend. And a 4, she said, is a nice, good number. And now it's just her and her mom. 1 + 1. She says it's not good. So she's kind of missing her friend. She goes to school one day, and there's a new kid that walks in. And she's kind of happy because now she will not be the new kid. He plops down in front of her. He is a grouch. He actually grumped at the teacher. He actually growled at the teacher. His name is Free. And she's like, great. He's sitting in front of me. He's super tall. I can't see anything. And he's a grouch. So she does the right thing. At lunchtime, she says, do you want to sit with me? And he tells her to buzz off. And she's like, fine, suit yourself. I was trying to be a good person. So she goes to lunch and she sits by the 3 T's. Tanya, Talisha, and Tamika. They are not her friends and they don't ever let her in the group, but she doesn't have to sit by herself. So she sees that he is sitting by himself, Free, and she feels bad for him, but she gave him the opportunity. So as the days go on, he growls at the teachers, he growls at the kids. He is not a happy camper. So finally one day, he comes into the lunchroom and he is super grumpy. He kind of shoves this little tiny kid and tells him to get out of my way, squirt. And this kid was so scared and so shaken by him that he dropped his tray. And Free just steps over him, grabs his tray, he slams it down on the table, leaves the kid crying, picking up chicken nuggets. And now Diamond has had enough. She cannot stand him being so grouchy, and what gives him the right? She stomps over, she screams at him, what's your problem? She makes him apologize to this tiny little, second grader that he was made cry. And I'm going to leave it there. Diamond, she is spunky, and she's got lots of other books in her series. This is Make Way for Diamond Daniel by Nikki Grimes. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining me, and I will be back next week for some more books. Bye.